That's gonna be cool. They just showed off a bunch of the. They showed the images. I don't know if the infos on the new relics are gonna be on the wiki. So I know they're paired with the wiki. So they showed in the in the video. They showed like the combat relics that we saw at the very beginning that we get like starting off. They showed them again in a later relic stage. So we saw Ruinous Powers yesterday. We saw Executioner earlier today, where you can insta-kill enemies at 20% or less health. Let me pull up the image that I saw. So this is a screenshot that I took from the thing. So we have Endless Harvest, Production Prodigy, and Trickster as tier 1. Then we have Fairy's Flight and Globetrotter as tier 2. Banker's Note and Fire Sale as tier 3. I like that he like just showed all of it now, so I can kind of plan my route. So the combat relics are tier 4. Then we have these new relics that we never saw: Treasure Seeker, Bloodthirsty, and Infernal Gathering, Equilibrium, Farmer's Fortune, and Ruinous Powers. Then we have Soul Stealer, Weapon Master, and Berserker. So we knew about Weapon Master. We haven't seen Soul Stealer and Berserker though. Soul Stealer sounds kind of like a form of lifesteal, maybe. Berserker might be the opposite. Like if you're low on health, you get big damage bonus or something. Then the very last tier, tier 8, we have Executioner, Undying Retribution, and Guardian. Honestly, Executioner just kind of sounds pretty broken, but honestly, Guardian helping through an entire fight, might have to go with Guardian. And we automatically get the last recall thing too. So I think the route that I'm probably going to take is going to be Trickster. I know my face is hiding Trickster. I think Globetrotter might be better for my areas, because I don't think there's a whole lot of fairy rings for my areas, to be honest. Especially since I have Wilderness as one of my areas. There's no fairy rings in Wilderness. So Globetrotter would probably be just more value for me. Banker's Note, Superior Sorcery. I have no idea what the heck this is. I'm not sure about these. And the rest of these are a little iffy, to be honest. I'll probably end up picking Guardian as my last one. Where is he going for? I'm going for Wilderness and Desert first. And then my third one's a little bit of a toss-up. Right now, my plan is to go Asgarnia for my third region, but I might potentially change it to something else. So we'll see. If I don't pick Asgarnia, I'm probably gonna end up picking Korend or Mortania, just so I can do some raids, like with y'all and stuff, or just with just friends in general. Everyone in the league is an iron, so you can't trade anything. You have to obtain everything yourself. There we go. Hello.
There you go.
There we go. I don't think you were on though when I was talking about the leaks and stuff earlier though.
No.
Okay. So
I did see it though.
So what are your thoughts then?
There's still some that we don't know anything about.
Yeah, no, pretty much. Like Fairy's Flight for tier 2, I'm assuming it's just another type of transportation.
And Fairy's Flight is receive a unique teleport item that allows teleporting to any fairy ring, spirit tree, or tool leprechaun, provided that the player has access to select destinations.
Ooh, tool leprechaun.
So it makes like farm runs, I guess, kind of easier.
Not that we have a lot of farms in the first place.
That's the point, is like even fairy rings, I don't know. Like,
well, I think there are no fairy rings in the Wilderness, that's for sure.
That's what I'm saying, is like the first pick's stupid. Like desert, okay, there's probably some in the desert, but like
not very
many good ones.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, you just teleport to the Grand Exchange and use the fairy ring that's right to the left of it.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing on the game.
But it's not even like you're choosing between Globetrotter and Fairy's Flight.
Honestly, for us, I think the Globetrotter is just better because there's so many different teleports in the Wilderness. I'm probably gonna go Globetrotter just because we have Wildy.
Even if we can't put one in the POH as a spirit ring or a fairy ring or spirit tree, like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not.
If we have spells, we can just teleport right to Grand Exchange and have a spirit tree and a fairy ring.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worried about any of that.
Like I'd rather have the quicker teleports around the Wilderness than pretty much everything else, because everything else is already easy for us to get to.
Yeah, especially our path is going to be no brainer for Trickster.
Globetrotter. I'm doing Banker's Note.
That's the one that's like
Like it'd be
that's
nice to have
the
fire
toughest
sale,
decision.
but I just don't think fire sale is a necessity.
I was thinking about it like this, right? Because we're going to be at rifts for a while trying to get the 3 base weapons.
We're gonna be like everywhere for a while in the wildy.
Even like going to the bosses for the upgraded versions, I don't think we're going to have a problem with GP.
No, we're not.
Because we're going to have all those alchables from revs and bosses and all that stuff. I don't think that's going to be a problem for us ever.
I was a little surprised that the combat relics were tier 4.
I tried telling you they don't do them first.
I don't know why. For some reason, I thought I heard they're gonna be early on.
We don't know what Bloodthirsty is yet, but Bloodthirsty we don't obviously know. Treasure Seeker they've had in the past. If it's clue related.
Oh, is
it's just clue score. Yeah, so there's a couple of things. At least this is what the last league that had it was. It was NPCs that drop clue scrolls will have a 1 in 20 chance of dropping them. Just increases the drop rate of clue scrolls.
And clue scrolls are stackable this league too.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to add something else to it or not, but
Infernal Gathering just looks like something scaling related.
It is. They had it before. You get 3 pieces of Trailblazer equipment, which is Trailblazer axe, pickaxe, and harpoon. Basically, if you chop any logs, mine an ore, or fish, it does the production version. So any logs are burned, any any mine, any ore mined is made into a bar. That's what Infernal Gathering is. So depending on what Bloodthirsty is, it's going to be between Bloodthirsty and Infernal Gathering. For a tier 5, that one's kind of interesting.
All over the place, yeah. Farmer's Fortune, I'm assuming, is probably something similar to Infernal Gathering, just for farming.
There's never been a Farmer's Fortune. There has been an Equilibrium.
I'm assuming Farmer's Fortune is probably maybe something like double or triple yield on stuff. Ruinous Powers, I'm curious to see what they're going to do for that.
I'm just going to say it's probably going to be Ruinous Powers no matter what happens anyway. Anyway, moving on. So, Equilibrium. It's Equilibrium's kind of interesting. It's going to be for people that want to max. But previous ones was each time a player gains the experience, they will gain an additional experience equal to 10% of that player's total level. Additional experience given by this relic is not multiplied by the league's XP multiplier. So basically, if you want to max fast, you take that. But meh. The only thing they say for this is if chosen with the like production prodigy thing, each time process will trigger this effect. So like you know how it's like the instant.
Shit. Yeah.
It'll do that.
That would probably trigger off Trickster too, then wouldn't it, for like fire making and thieving?
For the 9, maybe, yeah. But anyway, no one cares because Ruinous Powers is in here. So
yeah.
And for us not being able to get Augury or Rigor, or Piety, like this solves a prayer problem for like a prayer book problem for us, right?
Yeah.
I just don't see, unless they make Farmer's Fortune the most broken farming relic, I just don't see it beating out solving good prayers, good utility, and all that. Like, and with boosted XP rates, like I'm not worried about Equilibrium at all.
Same.
That's not even like a pick for me.
Have they had Soul Stealer or Berserker in the past?
All right. So upon further research, now they've never had a Berserker one, but if you look at the Ruinous Prayers, there was a Berserker prayer. The Berserker prayer itself is boosted combat stats last 50% longer.
My guess would be, because it has like a heart symbol on the icon, they might go for more like a traditional MMO or RPG type of Berserker ability, where like if you're low on health, which is something they tried toying with for the initial Ruinous Powers, you know, like the whole you're low on health, get a big buff type thing. They might try going that route.
Agreed.
Like if you're, I don't know, 20, 30% or less health, you get boosted DPS stats.
Kind of treat it like the Soul Reaper axe.
Yeah, in a way.
Or like if you know how it attacks, it gets better damage and better accuracy for each stack it gets. And well, not saying it's going to have stacks or anything, but saying you are sacrificing health for more damage.
Yeah.
Soul Stealer kind of makes me think of like Lifesteal.
That's what I was thinking too.
Because that would be pretty gross too.
That'd be hella broken.
If like every hit you did or every damage you did had a chance of
either that or they might make it like the Chaos Partisan, that whenever you kill something, you heal.
Maybe.
Oh,
Seven's going to be a hard one. For, I'm saying Soul Stealer, Weapon Master, Berserk.
Oh, okay.
Like that's because we don't know what the other two are. We're only just
speculating.
guessing. It definitely sounds like, Weapon Master, I think is good. Like we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to, as soon as we get SGS, we could just sit there and infinitely SGS.
On the off chance that I end up going Mortania instead of Asgarnia, we could actually abuse Weapon Master with the Nightmare Staff Orbs. Because with the Eldritch Orb, that would solve a good part of our prayer problems. If we end up having an issue getting prayer pots and stuff.
Again, tier 7 is going to be a pretty good chunk away.
And the Volator Orb Staff, that'd be massive damage for our magic. Kind of synchronized with our magic relic. Because realistically, aside from the Cursed Scepter's spec, you only need it for it to land once. It's not something you're going to want to like abuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mostly just going to be
so really
restores from bosses. So
yeah, so our primary spec weapons are going to be like maybe Webweaver Bow, obviously Void Waker. We'll see.
The last one. I was not expecting them to show us all of the last tier.
All right, that last tier. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm gonna pick, but I want to hear what you think.
Oh, you want to hear what I think? No, great, thanks. Are we going to be able to do God Wars together since we're Iron Man, or are we going to do solos?
I'm assuming it's going to be solos.
I'll say this. I am thinking it's not Undying Retribution. I'm kind of torn between Executioner and Guardian. Because Executioner, obviously, you're just skipping 20% of something's health.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about TOA, and for instance, we don't care about the lower levels invocations. We're going to be fine. It's when we start pushing those higher ones where that 20% is now like maybe an extra 200, 300 HP, where that would be really good for like every single fight in there, along with Bandos and all the God Wars dungeons. But then Guardian is also kind of the same thing, but does more. Just because you can have it throughout the entire fight, and then maybe it might do more than 20% of the damage, especially if his max hits 15 and he's using the combat style that the monster's weak to. I think it'd be kind of sick for both of us to take like a Guardian and just have a 4-man raid. We have think of like this, right? We're not going to have thralls, which is fine. But one of our thralls doing 15 each too, like that's going to make fights so much crazier.
And they have AoEs. Yeah, the AoEs can be nice, especially for Monkey Room Baba. And
last for 30 minutes.
Yeah. So
it literally lasts for 30 minutes.
And there's no cooldown too. You can resummon it immediately.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I think the Executioner is good. Don't get me wrong. I just think the Guardian can be better. Especially for both of us when we have to go do our solo God Wars trips.
Exactly. That
would help out a lot more than, okay, I'm getting my ass beat to the last 20% and now I can finally take it out.
Yeah.
So this thing could be hitting 15s.
That's literally my thought process. Like I chose Guardian too.
Oh, thank God I didn't feel bad about that one. I saw Executioner and I was like, oh, that seems broken.
It is and isn't.
It isn't. That's what. And then you think about it for a minute.
It's like it's mainly gonna be used the hardest bosses and obviously raids. In the game, but like outside of that, it's very niche. Outside of that, you're not really gonna be using it because it's like, and obviously Guardian, it can hit up to 15s, so it's gonna help with DPS a lot throughout an entire fight, and you can use it in more situations too. So it just seems more usable. In that case, obviously we never played the previous leagues, so the question would be like, how reasonably quickly can we reach tier 4? Because like I would hate to have to go into still be in the wilderness and not have access to my my combat relic.
I'm gonna say like I'm not even gonna step foot into TOA until we get Sorcerer.
Oh, that's 100%.
Like I'll probably unlock, how many ever points it takes to unlock ability, and then the next one, like we'll have those unlocked just to give us access to more points. But I'm probably not even gonna step foot into TOA until Sorcerer is unlocked. That's when the TOA grind starts. Because as soon as Shadow happens, like the game pretty much opens up for us.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
That and Fang, it's just over. Yep. And then another question mark for that one for now. And then the big boy Guardian. Yep, that's exactly what I have.
It's pretty much my
is whatever Bloodthirsty's going to be, unless it's going to be like in past ones where you could like pick your own Slayer task kind of thing. So they had one that's called Unnatural Selection. So it would be like players can choose which Slayer assignment they would like to receive. And then the other one was Superior Slayer monsters will now have a 1 in 25 chance of appearing and will always drop a clue scroll if they are able to drop one.
That'd be big if we're trying to get the heart. Beat heart, yeah.
In addition, they will roll their standard variance drop table 6 times, though this does not increase the amount of rolls on the superior creature unique table. Oh, okay. Well, here's something real quick then. It's called the Botanist from one. If this is going to be like Farmer's Fortune, this is like a farming one that they had in a past league. It was farming ticks occur every minute instead of 5, allowing crops to grow 5 times quicker. Resources harvested from farming are multiplied by 2. It's competing with Ruinous Powers, if that's what this is. If Bloodthirst is going to be like kind of like this.
I feel like that's just a little bit. I feel like Bloodthirst. If it's that Slayer stuff.
If it's the Slayer stuff, then
probably gonna be
Bloodthirsty.
More important than Infernal Gatherer.
I don't mind having to go cook fish or mine the stuff and then go do it myself. Like it's
we need
not going to be that bad. Oh, thanks for joining us on YouTube. It's Brian IRL. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.